Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to Code Night New Zealand. And tonight we have a special guest, Jonah Andersson. How are you? Let me see. You're on mute. Let me unmute you.
Yes, I'm sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm saying hi from Sweden, and it's so nice to be here at Coding Night, New Zealand community. And thank you, Marcel, for inviting me after meeting first time at the MVP Summit. That was awesome.
Yeah, w- was awesome. Like meeting like lots of MVPs and get to talk to you at the summit. And then I thought like,
Yes,
wow, I think like Jonah has a lot to offer like to our community, right? Because you are a developer and you work with Azure, so
yes, I
it fits
do.
really well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
right. I like the combination of both .NET and Azure or cloud and the community like this.
correct. Wow. So wow, it's awesome to have you here with us. And you're gonna bring like special topic, right? Developing .NET apps using the Azure Developer CLI. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that would be
You have like
exciting. Yes.
something like you can share with us what you're bringing tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sharing Azure Developer CLI, which is one of the open source developer centric tool for Azure, and it is very polyglot, even in .NET applications and cloud development. I won't talk about it, but I have something exciting prepared for everybody.
Awesome. Well, that's very special, and I hope the audience enjoys and make good use of that. But before we start, I just want to share that if you're coming like for the first time in the Code Nights user group, so you know that we have a purpose. So we are a community group of developers. We love coding, and we follow best practices on software development languages and technologies. In general, we tend to focus a little bit more on Microsoft stack, but to be honest, we're open like to any stacks, and we love talk about like technology. And the intent of the user group is to enable developers with practical knowledge to excel and launch their careers. So you're always going to find really good content that we get to share in here in our community. And you're always going to learn like something from it. If you're like a junior developer or a lead developer, you're going to have like some great findings really that you can leverage in your studies or even like at work really. That's the purpose of our sessions. Where I would like to mention that we're part of AzureTar.com, and we are a cloud native group of enthusiasts where we get to share and talk about like the latest and greatest on the cloud native space. We're sponsored by .NETFoundation.org, which is an entity that looks after the different open source .NET projects, and JetBrains, software development tooling for developers, right? So uh, last session we had like some gifts, but you always have like those with JetBrains. It's awesome, and we really uh, well we take like this opportunity to have like those amazing sponsors. And well, with no further ado, Jonah, I'm bringing you to stage,
Yes.
and the floor is
Yes.
yours.
Yeah. Yeah, the stage. Thank you for the great introduction, Marcel. So, I will be presenting. Oh, we have people saying hi. Hi, everyone. If you're watching this live, it's so awesome to time travel from Sweden. It's about 10 a.m. in the morning here, and to New Zealand in the evening, Monday evening there, my Monday morning. So, thank you for spending time. And if you're watching this recorded, I hope that you also enjoy this session that's coming up right now. So I will be presenting a presentation about Azure Developer CLI in the perspective of .NET application development. I will be doing a code demo as well. So I hope that you will learn something awesome today. All right. Marcel, feel free to like interrupt me if there are any questions or anything.
Yeah,
I
like
would
so for the audience, right? So if you have any questions, we're gonna bring
Mhm.
like to Jonah. I'm gonna be watching, and then
Yes,
I
that's
can
right.
raise those questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I have a dog in the background, so if he says saying hi to other dogs in the window, please, I'll try to mute briefly and then continue talking. But yeah,
All
that's
right, no
our
worry.
pets are for. Okay, so today or tonight, I will be sharing about developing .NET applications using Azure Developer CLI. And I want to start. Let me see if my clicker works. Okay. I want to start by asking you questions, a question which is a relevant one, which is a question that we can ask to any developer or anybody. This question of how productive are you? So if you're watching this live or recorded, think for a moment and reflect how productive are you as a developer when you are building your apps, when you're working with your colleagues. And I will be giving copies of my book. So feel free to interact with Marcel or I if you have questions, or later on, if you want to like share that you're watching this session, I will be sharing free copies of my ebooks later. And maybe a lucky winner will get a signed copy as well. So the reason why I asked about how productive we are as a developer is because that's one of the important factors that we need to have when we're building applications as a developer, of course. And it's one of the challenges that sometimes face as well, especially when we are bombarded with a lot of distractions, including ourselves with our mobile phones and social media and everything that we need to do for work on a typical workday. But I asked AI because AI is a very trending technology today. So I asked Copilot about this question. So, what are the common challenges that developer face when it comes to developer productivity and team collaboration today? And I'm talking about IT project perspective. And Microsoft Copilot, which we have on the web browser or even in our computers for Windows users as well, it highlighted some interesting answer, which I'm very satisfied, because sometimes when you're doing Copilot, you're not satisfied and it feels so fishy. The answer, it's not correct, but I got a very good answer when I asked Copilot about this question. So first two group of answers. First, I asked about developer productivity challenges, and then next one is team collaboration challenges. In the first two, on developer productivity challenges, the first one, interruption of flow state. If you can relate to this as a developer, raise your hand behind the scenes or the backstage, wherever you're watching this on your sofa or your bed. It's one of the things that I am guilty about. And then the next one, I also agree in this one, iteration speed, meaning the slow inner loop. So sometimes as a developer, when we are in a project where we're very so productive or not productive, but when we think positive, we are so productive, we move forward on a specific task that we need to do for the sprint, but you cannot really tell if your code is working to production until the QA have tested it, until it goes to UAT, until it goes to business testing, until it's finally in production. But the slow iteration of slow inner loop between the team actually takes time, and it actually affects the efficiency and productivity of us developers. And then the other factors answered by AI is like poor leadership, something we cannot control because sometimes we cannot choose our leaders. Um, Another thing is lack of unity around goals in a team project, poor engagement, lack of collaborative infrastructure, and collaboration overload. Sometimes we collaborate too much that we just spend time talking a lot about the problem instead of solving the problems. But one thing that I want to highlight in the team collaboration part is the lack of collaborative infrastructure, meaning team members in an IT team needs good tools for collaborations. And when we speak about developer productivity, I want to highlight Azure Developer CLI as one of the tools that can help developers and all team members like DevOps, QA, and even architects work together in one open source tool that allows them to manage their resources and even code on one shared workspace. So to those that are that haven't seen me before, I'm your speaker or guest speaker from Sweden. I am a person who's very passionate to inspire technology, cloud development with Azure and even .NET. I myself works as a senior Azure consultant at Solidify, at a consulting company here in Sweden. I work between leading a team of cloud DevOps infrastructure. Sometimes I do some coding. Sometimes I do architecture. So a mix of everything. So I have different hats I wear sometimes. Um, I'm very active in the community as a Microsoft MVP, and I teach Microsoft certification trainings as an MCT. And I founded Azure User Group Sweden as well, a community built during the pandemic. So it's virtual, like we are doing right now in this session. And then I wrote a book about Azure because of cloud migration lessons learned that I had years ago. So that's what I'm giving away to everybody that's watching this today. So, focus that we have today is developer productivity, and no need to explain it. Everybody understand what it is, especially as developers. It is important, and at the same time, teamwork and collaboration is also important. You can you imagine you're very productive as a developer, you're ready to deliver your code or bug fixes, but the collaboration and teamwork doesn't work? It will really affect your flow as well. So both needs to work together. So Azure Developer CLI is a tool that you can use for building applications on Azure. So this one is an example of a typical uh, app or a simple application built on Azure. So you have your identity management using Intra ID, you have your networking in that, and then the key vault for secret managements, and then a simple app service with different deployment slots built in an app service plan, and then your database for storage of your data, and then the monitoring. So illustrating this to you to introduce those that haven't worked with Azure, because I'm a I'm a speaker or person that likes to share knowledge and introduce those that are beginners as well. So this is a typical application that is built on Azure, and this is an architecture. It's a very simple one, and just to set your expectations, it can be very complex depending on the use case or problem that you're trying to solve as a developer. So when you start a project to the cloud, let's just say it's a new project or maybe a POC or maybe a migration project. Usually, you need some planning. You need some proof of concept to make sure that the idea or solution that you're trying to propose is going to work in the real production environment. The team, you need to choose the team that you're going to work in this project, responsibilities, who does what for this, technology stack like back end, front end, and whatever tools that we're going to use for the entire team. And then think about this detail level of zooming in. Let's just say front end. There are so many options of front end languages today. There's also back end. Are you going to use C Sharp, Java, or other programming languages for the cloud? Infrastructure as code. There's an option for Terraform and Bicep and maybe other automations tools out there. And then cloud. My focus is Azure, but maybe you get a project that is supporting multi-cloud or hybrid cloud. So those things in a project can also affect. And then there's also testing and automation. And usually in a typical real life project, maybe you have a perfect project that you have everything at once. In a real world, for me as a consultant, by experience, all of these tools that we're seeing right now, front end, back end, and all the CI/CD pipelines, They are actually everywhere. Like in my project, for example, we have our source code in this place. We have our backend code in that source control. We have our front end here, and we have this tool somewhere else for project management. And if you are a senior developer that have been in the project for a while, it's like you got the flow, you know the routine, you do it every day. But what if you're someone that's new in the project and you are a senior responsible to help the junior one to help them in board in the project? So source code is everywhere, and it is can be something that can affect time and productivity. So productivity matters for us, and as developers, we like to be focused and serious like Mr. Robot. So I myself have seen this this TV series, and it's interesting one. So too much mini destruction affect our brains, and a good example of a real life uh, destruction is developer and QA tester pushing, like slapping each other because of critical bug that needs to be fixed. So instead of going forward, you need to go backward because you need to fix a bug. So that's also a distraction, but that's the reality of our job. And as long as you enjoy solving problems, that's awesome. So speaking again about the developer productivity as an introduction to ACD, is that there is this space. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but there is a Microsoft research about it, about a framework for like the different aspects when it comes to developer productivity. So in the space aberration, there's like satisfaction and our well-being, our performance, our activity, how we communicate and collaborate, and our efficiency and flow. So if you are curious about it, just to get a feel of how it is for you as a developer, or how productive you are, feel free to check out that research as well, and including this one, the future of the way we work, especially during the remote working, and also the advancement of AI. So how does like Azure Developer CLI help us with developer productivity? Because the developer CLI, or Azure Developer CLI, or ACD, is actually it actually solves the problems of developer productivity. That's what the how they built this tool for. So it is empowered by AZD commands, which are easy to remember. I think there are about 4 or 5 of them. It's open source, meaning it is open to public, to developers to contribute, and it's also polyglot, meaning it supports .NET, Java, Python, and other languages as well. Developer centric, meaning it's not selfish or central to us developers only. It means that it's more focused on the flow, on development, from developers to DevOps to QA team and to the entire infrastructure management specific to the cloud platform Microsoft Azure. And this is ideal for proof of concept projects, and even existing projects that you want to uh, implement using ACD as well. So all source code is shared in the same workspace for your applications, regardless of whatever programming language type it is. And it uses the templates or blueprints, you can call it, where you can apply. You can start with a template, or you can start by implementing ACD from your existing application code. You can also build from scratch or customize it if you want. So there's this flexibility, which is very good for us developers who likes to contribute and build new things from templates or anything from scratch. So how does ACD works when it comes to like development? First, you need to look for, you need to choose the template that you need to have. So using the command ACD template list, which I will be showing on my demo later, you can see all the templates for different languages. That includes, as you see there, there's a template for ChatGPT Quick Start. There's a template for like event-driven applications. There's a template for Docker C Sharp, which is one of my example with container apps. There is a pub sub, any languages. There are good templates there. And if you want to see the list of templates, it also exists on this link, aka MS Awesome ACD. So you can look it up yourself. So, what are the typical workflow for ACD? All you need to do is just learn the commands. I mean, you have the development background, you know the basics of Azure and how you work with them. All you need to remember is to download, of course, the tool locally or in your machine to get started with the setup. But the workflow composed of at least 4 or 5 commands that you just need to remember. The first one is ACD init, that initializes your project with your chosen template or your own custom code. There's ACD app. What it does is that it's gonna like package up all your resources from front end code, back end code, infrastructure as code, DevOps pipelines in that folder in the shared workspace, and it will deploy and provision it up to Microsoft Azure after you have been authenticated. And then if you want to have like changes to your code, you don't need to like create a new branch and then do a feature branch and then merge. Usually you can just work through the same file or same project in the shared workspace and do the command ACD deploy. It remembers what you did earlier and just update it. And then provision if you have some kind of like updates on your infrastructure as code, or like for example, you want to add a new app service, so you can just use ACD provision when it is needed. That's why it is optional. Do we have questions so far, Marcel?
No, we're good. Yeah, so far so good.
So far, so good. I hope that you're learning. Have you worked with the ACDs, by the way, before?
Oh, I've been exploring that for some time. Yes, I think
Oh,
like that's a pretty good,
yes,
yeah, way of automating well
yes.
development
What?
in release processes. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So you're this is not new to you. That's good. You can
No,
you
no,
can
yeah.
share your in.
It's our first session about it, right? So that's pretty good.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good. Yes, glad that you have used it. The first time I tried ACD. I kind of like liked it right away because of the flow, the easy, and it's easy to get onboarded with it as well, and which is very user friendly for junior developers. So I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your thoughts on that as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say that's a scenario that I use like for existing projects, right? So having
Mm,
an existing templates where and then you bringing AZD right together.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a
that's
pretty
very.
good use case for that, for like
Yeah.
legacy projects. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. And even for new ones, I think like POC and those that are like those that don't know how to get started and building up with Azure and managing resources, everything is in there as prepared as a template. So
Mhm.
it's a good tool on open source for improvement as well to those who wants to contribute. Okay. Another special another special command of ACD is AZD down. I mean, which is not probably not so common, but sometimes you have to decommission things. If you build something, sometimes you destroy it. And maybe a big decision if you're building a real building, but when it comes to cloud development, it's so flexible, and that's a good thing about cloud. You can build things quicker, and you can also decommission it quicker if you're not satisfied or something is going on. You can automate it. But I just want to share that aside from all this common building things like updating commands for developer CLI, there might be times that you need to decommission, and maybe there it doesn't the template or the entire project that you didn't work out, then you want to start again with a new template or from scratch. There's also the ACD down that you can use. So what it does is that it cleans up the resources that you built, like a resource group, and then you can start it up again using ACD up. So this is the typical workflow. You have this, you select your ACD template, you choose your template by initializing it using command ACD init, and then you code backend, front end, whatever the type of template or project that you need to have. You configure it up, your Azure configuration, your DevOps configuration, or if you have it in containers, you can configure it up as well, the environments. And then you set the command ACD up to deploy it to Azure with everything in place, iterate your code changes, and then deploy. And then I want to share about authentication control, because you might have a question in your mind, especially those that haven't tried ACD before. How does it work? Like, I just put in ACD up and then it just deploy to Azure. But how does
We-
it know that it's going to
Yeah,
be deployed to Azure? Yes, we got a question.
we got a question, right? So that's Ademar.
Ah,
So when you use AZD up, how do you know like what subscription service you're using?
yes. My camera froze, right? I think
It
so.
did, yeah. 'Cause I
Oh
was
my
hoping
God. I
it
mean,
was gonna come, but
Okay. I was also hoping it will come back, but let's say I'll let the camera work. Let it be for now.
no worries.
Okay. I tried to stop and then let me see, restart. Uh, Back. Okay, great.
You're back.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm back. I'm back moving and
All
waving.
right. Oh,
Okay.
good.
So can you please show the question again? I think it's related to this. Yes.
It,
Hi,
it is
Adam.
related. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Hi, Ademar. Thank you for watching and also asking the question. When you use the ACD app, what subscription service you're using? So this is related to this one. So basically, when you do ACD app, it will ask you to do authentication login to your Azure, and basically, if you're not, it is very smart enough to prompt you. But if you're not prompted, you still need to authenticate yourself anyway. So you will have authenticate using ACD auth login. It will open a browser to Microsoft Azure portal, and you need to authenticate yourself. And then once you're logged into Azure, it will confirm. And then when you do the ACD app, it will detect, because of this authentication control, it will detect that you have, for me, for example, I have like 4 or 5 subscriptions. So I will have a list of those subscription. And then when I do the deployment with ACD app, it will uh, ask me which one I want to deploy the resources to. So I hope that helps to answer the question, which is related to the current presentation as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, let's move forward. So this is a typical ACD like project folder, as you can see. Let me see if I can mount. So this is like an example of a template where you build a to-do list using C# and an app service. So here you have a template for DevOps part. So this is where you have the ACDO, Azure DevOps, and you have your pipelines and default template for building up or coding up your tasks and steps for ADO with Azure YAML file. And then you have the Azure folder. This is where you configure your environments for Azure. So in this screenshot, I had like one environment, which is dev. And then in the configuration, that's where you configure your environments if you have several of them. And then there's a dev container for your config for dev if containers if you have it, and then Docker Docker file, and then GitHub. And then there's a folder called infra. This is all your infrastructure as code related files, code files is inside in this template. And by default, it is Bicep. Since it's Microsoft, it's Azure. Bicep is the default infra code template. But there is actually a support for Terraform. There's a separate guide how you would implement that in a specific ACD template. So that's also flexible. And then SRC, let's just say if it's an application type of template, usually you get a default SRC folder that includes your backend like APIs and even your web for the front end as well. And then some basic template for testing and the Azure YAML file as well for your Azure configuration. So this is like the typical project folder. There might be a template that doesn't have SRC, for example. Like in my code demo, I'm gonna try to show you how it works to build an Azure container apps with two containers inside it. And usually the template itself didn't have SRC. It's just like separate microservice for each of the container. So monitoring using Azure Developer CLI, because you might be wondering, how do you monitor if everything in the process is inside this like shared folder of flow? So you can actually monitor while you're developing. So you use the command ACD monitor, and you can add a dash overview as a postfix syntax to show the overview of the app insights, the perspective of that. If you want to see just logs, you do the dash logs. Live, if you want to see the live stream monitoring as well. You might be wondering, the screenshot that you see here is actually the live metrics, for example, for the app insights. And unfortunately, I don't think it's built inside the VS Code, for example, your IDE or Visual Studio. When you do this command, it will actually, it's integrated with your Azure. So when you do this command, it will open up a new web browser if you don't have it open yet, and it will show you the app insights of like pop up or window for monitoring. So ways to develop with Azure Developer CLI, the stable one as of today, and also latest documentation on Microsoft, is locally. You can develop, you can install it using PowerShell, your IDE such as VS Code. There's also what do you call that? An add-on or extension for VS Code that is still in beta. Same goes with Visual Studio. It's still a beta version, but local is already like stable version. And then there's GitHub code spaces, and you can also develop it with dev containers. And how to install it is on this QR code. How does it work with PowerShell? So basically, just like when you install anything using PowerShell, the command is just like Microsoft.acd. It's easy to remember. And then you will be asked to set it up, accept yes or no, and some of it's like questions. And then this is the extension itself. Code spaces also support this. So basically, when you if you go to the link awesome-acd website, you will be getting a list of templates that you can filter. Do you want to build with C# or SQL databases or containers? And once you have decided what template to start on that you can extend and customize later on, you can also like clone that template in your own GitHub repository, and then work through GitHub code spaces if you don't prefer to work locally or don't prefer to work with any of the IDE supported like VS Code or Visual Studio. And then when it comes to troubleshooting, which is very important in our day-to-day routine in development, debugging and troubleshooting is important. And how do you do that in Azure Developer CLI? So when you're like, instead of doing the ACD app to deploy, you can add the postfix tag dash debug if you want to enable the debugging mode or diagnostic mode for ACD. And then if you want also to kind of log in a local file the errors or whatever that you want to input as information or error in your applications, you can save it in a text file as well. Locally, you can just save it anywhere, so that would be a good way to debug or do troubleshooting. So I'm gonna touch briefly on Azure Container Apps because it's one of my examples. So Azure Container Apps, to those that are new to this, it's the serverless containers for Azure. It's like Azure Functions, but they are in containers that has more capabilities in terms of orchestration and languages that you can deploy inside the container. So it has this support for microservices, public endpoints, web apps, and event driven, as well as background processing. And the reason why I am sharing this with you because I will be presenting a template for Azure Container Apps with a C sharp code or .NET as its like container language for publisher and its subscriber, and then it uses Dapper, or it is Dapper enabled this template. And since containers and cloud native is trending today, I believe this is one good example as well for both working with containers in C sharp code and Azure itself as an infrastructure. So this is how it works. So there you have a checkout and you have an order processor. Let's just say I am assuming this is like a web shop where you can do checkout and process the order. And in between, there's a service bus that and Dapper as sidecars that works with the communication and events between them. I have a question to Marcel. Have you worked with the container apps with uh, with ACD before?
Yeah, I would say like that for the clients that we're doing, we have
Mm,
had like case for that. We
okay,
didn't
great.
use Dapper, but we got
Oh,
to implement some worker services in having like
yeah,
using container apps. I think
all
that's
right.
pretty good use case for what we needed. But yeah, Dapper is there like to enable and even make things much simpler. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm just interactive. Sorry, I'm asking you a question.
No, no,
I like
yeah,
the interactive. It's
everything
good because
there
I
like
know.
I've been using. Yeah.
Yeah, because you've used this before. So, I mean, you've used this
Correct.
also. So it's good that we're too sharing about it, your experience as well. So, to those of you that are like listening to us in this session or meetup, so Dapper is like a sidecar. It's a technology that you can use for orchestrating your containers, especially in microservices. I think you can relate also, Marcin, that or in microservices architecture, it can be more complex, especially if you have a lot of them. So you have this like Dapper that take controls and helps with the complexity, you can call it. So if you're curious about it, check it out. There's actually a documentation on this like template as well, which I will be showing. So I will show a bit of like code. Let me see if I can switch screen, or I can just like use the same maybe.
Yeah,
Let me
we if you bring
see.
like another screen, you can do it.
Let's see. I can do that. Let me share. Maybe I'll switch. I don't have a stiff neck on the other side.
All right.
I don't
Okay.
have a
No
neck
worries.
cover. Let's see. Let me
Yeah.
share screen. I'll move this one because it might be. Let's see. Where is my window? This window, entire screen. And I think that one is okay. Did it work? I mean, is it sharing?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, maybe because entire screen window. Okay. Screen one. That. Okay, it doesn't seem to work. Okay, I'll just do this. I don't see the button to share, so let me
Yeah, there
see.
should
That
be like a present icon, and then yeah, you can share like your screen from there, the same as you were doing before.
yeah, I did that, but somehow let me just see. Let me stop. Okay, it was hidden. Wait,
Hmm.
it was hidden because I moved to another smaller screen. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Let me just see. Move your that one. Uh, Okay, now I got it. Let me just see that one. Okay, got it. Sorry,
Yeah, it's
that's the
coming.
challenge. If you that's a challenge if you have like a lot of.
Yeah,
I have
sure.
a lot of screens.
I
You
just
know
want to
how it
ask
is.
if you can zoom in a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, I will. Let's see. I wanna see that. Hide that.
A
Okay,
bit more. Control
more,
plus.
more. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, nice.
control. Like yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm not sure how. I tried to like maximize
Okay.
the sidebar, but I don't think I can. But I hope this is pretty okay. Maybe you can put me in full screen mode.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Without
put like you in
the.
full screen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So all right, so this is the full screen mode. I'm not sure if I can increase the text on this. I can, let's see, I don't think so. But I want to share with you the example. So I have Visual Studio VS Code in here as my IDE or tool. So this is the example template for Azure. Azure Developer CLI with Dapper enabled container apps with C Sharp. And I want to show you first a bit of the commands that I use to find the template. So if you do, assuming that I already have installed everything as I already did, so you do ACD template list. So it will actually retrieve. Let's see if I can zoom. No, I can't zoom the results, but here you can see what I was showing to you. So if you do ACD templates, you get a list of templates. They get updated all the time, and the link to the repository. So you have Azure AI related samples. There's a SAP examples. There's Bicep Starter or Azure AI Starter. There's AKS, Python, ChatGPT. If you want to build with it, but you're not sure how to start, so there's already a boiler extendable template available for you. If you're building for Java, not really because we're a .NET community, so maybe that one we will skip. If you want to build a microservices app, which is the example that we have, but on C sharp, and then if you want to start with like chat applications, Azure functions, just I'm just like going through the templates, what you can build with it. You can build a React application with C sharp API and either by Mongo or SQL database. You can create a containerized web API for any languages .NET. And I think there's also a support for .NET Aspire uh, as well. There's a guide for that, one of the new technologies for .NET. So that's it. That's the template. But if you're not sure how to start, there's ACD help. Oh, that did not like the ACD. I think that one, ACD help, and it will tell you the commands that are currently built for ACD. So you have your auth to authenticate with Azure, config. There's also hooks for your CI/CD, the init, restore. And then the different commands like the deploy, down, and if you want to manage the environments, because you can have several environments for Azure, like dev and production or UAT. If you want to packages and do the provisioning and the monitoring and manage the pipeline, set versioning, you can also like do that in some flags as well. So I think the AC dash dash help also help us if you're not sure what command that will work in the CLI. So what I want to show you briefly, this is just a template, a starter template, is that in here, there's this Azure folder where I actually have set up the environments for several like demos, environment demos that I have. And in my config, for example, I did a test run for coding night NC, which is already deployed to Azure because it takes about 15 minutes and I don't want to eat it up. So I did the pre-deployment already ahead of time. So I set dev Jonah ACD coding night NC test run as my environment. And then there's the dev container for the dev environment, dev container configuration. There's GitHub, which I don't use in this specific template. And then there's a checkout and order processor, which is the checkout container itself for processing the order. And it has a program that CS file itself. It has its Docker configuration file as well. And inside it is just a simple one that has references to Dapper client, and then a while loop that counts to 20. It creates an instance of a Dapper builder in here. And then I'm creating an order event that there's an order coming from the checkout container, and then it will process that in this another service called order processor, and it's gonna push it to the Azure pub sub Azure service bus. So that's a simple example, but I want to show you the infrastructure part of it. So in the infra folder, you have the main.bicep, where you have the subscription where you set the subscription, the all resources, and then the pub sub uh, parameter in here. We have the checkout and orders, and then you can build it up if you want to have more uh, like containers inside it. The container apps environment, it's empty here because it is set automatically by the template, but you can edit it as you want. Like for example, line 39 here, which is the tags. So you can set tags like ACD environment name and the name of the environment that you have. You might be wondering where is this information coming from. So in one of my environments for coding night, I have this one. So there are like parameters inside this, like including my subscription ID. I should have hide it, but it's hard to do it in VS Code, but it's okay. But here you will see the environment name, that one. That's how it was like retrieved from the infrastructure main.bicep file. And you see the publisher name for the container apps. You can change it as you want, and then the URI as well. So monitoring is here as well. This is the service bus. So all infrastructure that are required is inside the main.bicep file. You can organize it as you want. This is just a starter template. There's also some list for abbreviation.json for all the abbreviation that you want to use. If you have this naming conventions required by your company or your project, you can also implement that and improve it or edit it as you want in this JSON file. And then the app has this like bicep template for the subscriber container service and then the publisher one. So if you want to like edit your infrastructure as code, which sometimes we have to do, I do Terraform in my work, not so much bicep, but it's pretty like clear how you build the infrastructure as well when you have the template to start with. So you build up your application for your specific service inside it, and then you have the core services for different categories as well. So that's the code file structure. And what I did is that I already have the template in built or deployed already. So what I will do is just like show you how it looks on Azure, which I already prepared as well. That one, this one. Okay, so this is the documentation of ACD. So I recommend you to go to Azure Developer CLI on Microsoft Learn to get more information on how to do things like how to use Terraform, how to manage environment variables as well. What are the like list of commands? You can do auth login. You can also do lag out. So there's a lot of them. I just like introduce you to the basic ones of this tool, so you can do a lot more than what I shared. So what I did is that I already pre-deployed because I want to save time on this session and for yours as well. So what I did the ACD app, configure the environment to be like resource group, dev, Jonah, ACD, coding night, NC, a test run. And then it did deploy the resources that I wanted and the code, the C sharp code that I already like have as a test for my, which is basically just a simple loop for orders, 20 orders, and then the checkout which is another another containers as well. So here is the container registry. This is the container apps environment. And inside the container apps environment, which is the local logical containers of container apps, let's see. It also has the orders and the checkout and the resource group. And just like when you're building infrastructure as code, everything is already configured, including the subscription. So now I will toggle screen back to the presentation. Let's see, where is that? Stop sharing and then switch back to another screen. Share screen. Where is my other screen? And that one. Okay. So now, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, you're in.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, I'm almost done. Yes, yes. Yeah, so because I skipped the 15 minutes, it took about 15, 12 minutes to deploy. So there was like a screenshot of like deploying it. So you I want to highlight that what it does is that it's going to tell you it deployed that, it deployed all the resources in into Azure as well. So it took that one. So there's so much I want to share with you, but we're running out of time, and I hope that you learned something with the Azure Developer CLI today. I did blog in details about this, so feel free to check out my blog. It was a contribution that I had in another community event, Azure Back to School. So feel free to read that blog and learn more if you want to get started with that. And then for SAP integration, there it is also possible if you have that use case. There was two speakers, one from Microsoft and another fellow MVP here in Europe, Christian shared about like how you can use Azure Developer CLI in terms of integration to enterprise applications. So that session was recorded, and I thought it was a good introduction as well. ACD docs is always the source of truth when it comes to any updates. So some parts of ACD are still in beta, but there are some good stuff that you can build with it already. And then if you want to learn about ACD in Swedish, or just listen how I speak Swedish. I was also interviewed about this technology on Microsoft Sweden podcast, and it's in Swedish. So if you want to listen, you will probably understand ACD or Developer CLI, but maybe the rest is jargon to you. But it's okay, just for fun listening. Okay, so learn by doing. I just showed you a touch overview. I have so much, as I said, honestly, I have so much to share about this. Like, you can do a coding camp for this one. There's so much to build, but learn by doing. And as you learn, learn to have fun as well. So don't be afraid to make mistake or break your code when you're playing around with ACD, or just like any coding projects actually. So just enjoy the learning. And if you want to access my book, you are welcome to access it for free for 30 days. It's online. So basically, you go to learning bit.ly link here, bit.ly learning Azure book. You need to sign up with a promo code Azure23 to get the 30 days. Otherwise, you'll get shorter days from O'Reilly. And then you can read my book using the QR code or search my name on the platform. So that's it. And then probably I will be giving away signed copies to a few of you interacted today as well. So, any more questions aside from what we got, or any comments?
No, I think like the questions that came up, there was something around like comparison to AWS Lambda, but
Ah,
that's
okay.
different, right? That would be Azure Functions. I didn't bring that up,
Yeah,
but there was a
I
question
missed the
related.
question. Oh, do you want to show it? Show
Yeah.
it.
So
Let's
this
see.
one,
Ah, okay.
Tash asked about like, is that like a Lambda in AWS?
No, that's it's no. The answer is no. You're correct, also, Marcel. So Lambda AWS is more like serverless Azure functions. ACD is more like a developer productivity tool, open source. It's not exactly the same as like Azure functions or AWS. It's on the top level. It's more like a Azure management tool, but everything is in there for collaboration. I don't think there's something similar in AWS, in my opinion, or what I know at least. Do you know, Marcel? If the
Well,
I don't think that.
I don't know like only the equivalent of the services. Yeah, but
Ah,
yeah,
yes.
I think
I
because the
don't
question
think.
was related to Lambda would be more like aligned to Azure Functions. I think
Yes,
like
yes.
for ACA, yeah, nothing comes up like right now. My head,
Mm,
yeah, but there would be like the equivalent on
mm.
AWS for that.
Yeah, there is definitely containers also on
Yeah,
other platforms, but ACD is a cloud management tool that's for developers to manage it. So nothing that I know of is similar to other platforms. So it's good in that
yeah,
way. We will see what other platforms will come up to. Okay.
correct.
No more questions?
No more questions, just comments that people are just like trying, just learning, right? It's like Sherry that
Ah,
she's learning like the
okay.
Azure Fundamental course. I think like
Oh,
for her would be well the version of your book would be great. I think like
yes.
people are just
Yes.
learning, and they
Yeah,
brought up
that's
like
good.
comments in here as well.
Yeah,
We have
that's
like
really
Hamed
good.
mentioning about like I've been using like through Visual Studio Codes, right?
Hmm.
That's the extension you shared. That's even
Yes.
like there's like Tig. Sorry if I'm gonna pronounce correct, but yeah.
See.
So he's learning Azure Fundamental as well. So So
Yeah,
people are
that's
just like
really great.
interested with learnings, really. Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
That your
Yeah.
session really aligns to
Yes.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good because it's a .NET community, and I'm also a .NET developer myself, and I .NET development open source is Microsoft and pretty close to Azure as well. So they're kind of like open source heart .NET heart Azure. So
Yeah.
all those they connect to each other, and I'm glad that you're learning Azure fundamentals because that's what I teach, that's what I share, and that's what I wrote about. So I will be probably Marcel can help out get who are the attendees, or maybe I can look up the recording on YouTube as well. But if you're really interested to read my book, you have issues scanning the QR code, feel free to reach out to me. I will share the copy of the presentation to Marcel as well to share to the community later on. But I do appreciate your time, Marcel, Monday night, for hosting this. I really appreciate for the invite from MVP Summit to being a guest in your community. That's amazing. See the great connection. And then feel free to connect anytime to those that are watching this live or recorded. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thanks so much, Jonah. Yeah, for
Yes.
coming share like with us like a bit of your experience, your passion. Really, you've been doing like a lot of for on the community, and I thought like well, invite you to our user group will be really a great fit because that's what we've been doing. Right? We've been doing like different sort of learnings on .NET, on Azure,
Yes.
different developer technologies, and yeah, I really like your passion and the way how you contribute like to the community. So thanks so much for coming share with us. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And feel free to connect. Thank you, Marcel. And you are also welcome to speak. Any of you, I also host or lead the community in Sweden, Azure User Group Sweden. So if you are someone that have something to share about Azure or related to .NET, you are also welcome to join us in that community. And hopefully next time I speak to New Zealand, it will be an in person because I haven't
Awesome.
been there.
Yeah. When you come here,
My bucket list.
just let me know. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do
that'd be
that.
awesome.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Anything else, by
Yeah.
the way?
No, I think like that's people just like very thankful
Thank
by your
you.
session, right? So they're really
Awesome.
enjoying, and I think like yeah, well, in here like we're finishing like our session, so we have in general like more sessions coming every
Mm,
3 to 4 weeks, and so just keep an eye on the meetup user group, and we should have more sessions coming up. And thanks again, Jonah. Well,
you're welcome.
was awesome having you here. And to the
Yes.
audience, yeah, see you next time.
Yes. Have a great evening, everyone.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.